Welcome back to Crate, Prepared to Die. So I'm in a new world for a new version. The dev is pumping out rapid updates to the pack, which is really cool. Changing features, adding features, all that stuff. I had to watch a YouTube video on how to use the mechanical arm, but it's really cool. You can have various outputs, which is what this deployer is, and then inputs, which is what this conveyor is. And there's round robin, forced, and preferred first target, all these options. I was thinking at first it would be intimidating to use, but it's basically deposit, input, throw it down, and then it's just going to know to grab stuff as soon as there's an item available and it matches a filter. So I think I've got 2 buckets in rotation. So the drain goes to this tank and then goes into, where does it go? Oh yes, from this tank it gets pumped out to the engine, which feeds this, which is the whole rotation. I don't have any gear, what do you call it, gear ratio stuff happening. Every time I tried to, the units got overstressed, because apparently this thing only supplies 256 stress units. So, what I was trying to do last night was run the mixer, but through various large gears to small gears, I couldn't get the system to not be overstressed, so I just slapped down this thing, which of course works manually, right? I had to get rid of, oh, that's a different story. These are my own notes. I automated the milk for engine power, and now what I have to do is the fermented blob, which is what one of these is down here. Can't forget about the pure daisy, actually, I'm just realizing. So this is kind of my storage room here, as of last night. So I can make water wheels easily enough just by sticking in andesite components. Where is it? And I could make a water wheel, you know, for more stress units. But I think what I want to do is make more of these fermented blobs, because then I can actually get, you know, water. And I don't know about this stuff. That's iron plates. That's a little ways away, I think. And then sand. I'm not even sure. Okay, so they gave me lava, and I know there's lava ponds all over the world. I think I've seen them, lava lakes. So once I get water, I can make cobblestone, which according to this blaze burner converts it into sand. I'm not exactly sure how these things work. You have to capture a blaze. So there must be a story there on how to do that. Because I think there's no nether. There's no value of having a nether in this pack, so it's disabled. I guess a dungeon spawned here. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, there's cave spider spawners. So it's kind of neat too. I think there's 3 parts of the ship. There's kind of the part that makes the noise that gets you to find the chest with all the stuff. There's another part, and then a 3rd part. And it's always random, which is kind of cool. So in this latest version, they removed health and fall damage, and, you know, hunger was always removed. So the dev was watching my video, and they said, you didn't notice there was double jump, which I didn't. Then he was doing some play testing, and he said, you know what, I'll add triple jump, so 1, 2, 3. Very handy for building. I don't think I need food, but I'll just keep all this stuff anyway. I know in the notes for this pack, I think on the GitHub page, the CurseForge page, or Modrinth, whatever it's called, block breaking's quick, but if I wanted to break all this down and, you know, start building a bit of a base, this is still kind of slow, so I suppose I can understand why, you know, Direwolf's building gadgets is not in this pack, because it is kind of extremely overpowered. But at the same point, if you're just using the building gadgets to lay solid blocks, I'm positive you can't lay entities. With his building gadgets, you'd be able to quickly make platforms. And to a lesser extent, I could do exchanging. So if I mined a bunch of this stuff, I could quickly exchange. I quickly pick up all these plates, if that makes sense. And honestly, that's something I might just add myself. Because one of the biggest draws for me for this pack is to say, hey, I need a engine. So I walk over here. Everything's quick and easy. Oh, I need an arm. or, you know, a speed controller. Or look at this, an engine. Boom. Oddly enough is the dev's answer to my question, what do I do about running this mixer? Because I only have that one engine that's fully loaded. He's like, we'll just make another engine. Aha, I always forget about the stone cutter. The ME terminal, the smart cables, the buses. So my next question was, if I wanted to set up a very basic AE2, they call it an ad hoc network where there's no main controller. If I search controller, unless they've renamed it to something else, they've actually disabled it. So the intention is AE2 is just a quality of life thing for dealing with, you know, one terminal for your many chests. So you're playing with ad hoc networks. There is no main controller to get 32 channels, is my understanding. So we got priority 1000 on this storage bus. This one's default. This guy will stay empty. So I was asking the dev what you have to do for AE2. Is there a way to convert, you know, like with a generator, or a way to convert mechanical energy to RF? And I couldn't find a way to do it. But apparently there's something called a battery, or maybe there was something called a battery. I guess it's called a cell. He's changed it as of last night to being milk. And I don't know what the automation was previously, but I can't seem to click on them to look at the recipe. So maybe you have to buy these now, but you actually have to fill them up. Okay, so this is create spout. Apparently you use milk to fill the energy cells. So this one's empty, but this one's full. And I get a spout. This whole area is going to need a redesign. Okay, so milk's going in there. Oh. I think that's gone. This video's me kind of playtesting for him. I'm trying to offer information as a player who's coming in completely blind. So yeah, we're going to want this guy. Set to tall. That's pretty sweet. In terms of energy usage, it's not actually that bad. If you could give the player a toggle bus, and I like how they added to the tooltip here milk cells, so it tells the player, okay, I need milk cells. Now I think what would be really cool is to have a way to, like a toggle bus here, so you could actually shut this off when you're not over here doing stuff. So yeah, for the moment, I'm not even going to bother using this energy cell because it's just going to deplete. So I don't want to get used to it until I have a way to make energy cells where they don't disappear. So my next question was, I had a bucket of fermented goop, and I thought I had filtered it, but it's not filtering because milk's getting pumped in. But the problem is when I throw a cog here to run this pump, it pulls milk right through. And if we look at the blob, we need 50 millibuckets of goop into this basin, this fermenting basin. And notice once you put milk in, you get some white dye, which I'm sure you can craft to bone meal. At some point, maybe. Then it doubles. It's like a catalyst. When you add bone meal with less milk, no, the same milk, you double your output. Oh, no way. So you're supposed to use the white dye on sand to get raw white, which is technically iron. And then once you get that, I guess you can do this. Aha. I didn't make that connection. And it's also possible they've changed it too, because I read something about making recipe a little easier. I don't know what's going to happen when I run out of components from the crash landing and I have to actually make my own. I haven't got that far ahead yet. A basin lid. That's funny, I would have been looking for that for a while if I didn't notice. Maybe I'll just leave that milk thing there. So we want to go right from a big gear to a little gear. What happens if I put the mixer and we go right back to a big gear? We're also running out of gears, cogwheels. It's easy to flip back and forth, but I don't know how to make a new one yet. Getting very low on supplies. Okay, so if I do something like this. I mean, I guess this congestion, throw some torches down for light. You know what you should be able to make? Night vision potions with milk. Alright, on to my next issue. That milk was getting forced through the basin without being converted to fermented goop. He said if I wander the basin. Okay, but how do you filter fluids? So now that we add the lid through the create diesel thing, it turns the basin into a fermenting thing. My problem still remains that I'm pulling milk through when I only want to pull fermented goop through. Oh yes, you can double, triple jump. That'll take a hot minute to remember. So just as my own curiosity. Oh, that is cool. So I could just run around there clicking with all my dye. It's not bad. So in terms of advancing, oh cool, there's trains. I really want to play with trains. I've never touched trains yet, ever. Okay, andesite, cog, plate. So we know how to get this. We don't know how to get this. Okay, a shaft and wood maybe is making this cog. How do you get wood? Possibly a crafting table's underneath the pool. That's maybe what that's telling me. How do you get the initial? The initial bit of wood. I'll have to look into that. Okay, I was originally coming here to do this. Smart fluid pipe. Control by type. They can specify the type of fluid to extract. Okay, so possibly this is what he meant. I don't think it was in the ponder mechanic. If it was, I missed it, or I just misunderstood. I'm possibly massively overthinking this. We're gonna have a real problem though, we don't have enough gears. Ah, it's not running with enough speed. So even if I could get a shaft to push it over, we are too low. See, likely what I'm running into here is a skill issue. Why on earth would I want to do that? 75% chance? That's almost done as like a cruel meme or something. So if I could get wood. Oh, I went for a little look around. Another gear. Oh my goodness. Forgot there's wood in the mine shafts. So this is probably unintended, right? That I go in here and take this wood. Or maybe it's not. This fence post would be useful to tie Betsy up. Oh, look at that. I would have loved to have found a few more fluid pipes, but I think you really are at the mercy of RNG. And like I said, this pack is more developed for experienced players, right? Especially with Create. So maybe that's my fault for not having a firm enough understanding of it all. Okay, so that's got enough stress units. We need to turn this thing now. I think this will work. Okay, nothing stopped, which is great. Okay, good. This is working. Imagine if somebody built this in a spot where they didn't have to keep digging downwards. It all started from my placement of Betsy here. We're gonna get cheeses in no time. Fermented blobs, rather. And they got a percentage chance too, it looks like. 10% chance. Oh, and I just read in the Discord that they've taken the crafting recipe out, so you have to progress through trading. Well, here's a question. Are you intentionally supposed to go out and search for mine shafts in the mesa biomes? But this still remains. How do you get a blaze burner? You gotta find a blaze. Yeah, cave spider. Interesting. Okay, so white terracotta is mineable, which gets me living rock. Mana into forge energy. Oh, I think this is what he was talking about when he said you need a redstone to be able to recharge the batteries. So I can just suspect that that's far away. Okay, I'll be honest, I am flipping through JEI here, trying to find out where to start, because for me, many of these components are helpful to me progressing. And I've still got quite a few, but I'm very low on fluid pipes. I have nothing left for fluid pipes. And then I've got a few brass casings. But I keep getting stuck on the same thing. It's how do I get wood? So you have to have lots of mana. But how am I getting mana right away? Living rock, okay. So that's the pure daisy and the white terracotta, which I can easily go out and do. And then they give you a Gorga Mary Lillis and water and sugarcane. But how does that get me food? Oh, this thing's full of white dye. Oh man, all I want this thing to do is run indefinitely, but I'm running into issues. Okay, it's scuffed, but it works. Now that we're emptying out this is going to keep making fermented goop and hopefully dumping cheese into there. Wonder how you get new contracts.